Okay, what's going on, everyone? It's Nick Akin here, South China Morning Post, SCMP Martial Arts. It's the post fight podcast. It's back after a little bit of a layoff, I think 2 or 3 weeks. I was recovering from Denver. John was recovering from first degree burns he inflicted on himself with ice packs. How are you feeling, John? You just got out of hospital yesterday, I think.
Yeah, I did. I had second degree burns as well as third degree burns. So,
Not first, sorry, my bad.
yeah,
But
first
still
degree
sounds
burns, you don't
pretty
have to
rough.
go to the hospital for that. That's just
Okay.
something that you could take care of on your own. But yeah, just idiotic mistake. But I should be recovered in a couple weeks. Um, Not a big deal. I'm not like too too terrible. It's not like I have to go to work, like at like a company or something like that. So I'm pretty good. It's not too bad.
That is good, and it's not going to keep you away from Bangkok, Thailand in a couple of weeks. With me, is it? We're going to be there on the ground like old days. Well, I guess it's not really like old days. We've never worked together on the ground. You're joining the team essentially, or rejoining the team, aren't you? Tom Taylor, as he put out on his social media, he's kind of taken another job elsewhere. He's still going to be contributing in a little ways. We're going to figure out some stuff for Tom, but he's stepping back from what he was doing for us. But John will be stepping up to the plate. It's good to have you back on board, JHK.
Yes, for sure, man. I'm excited to join you at the shows live, boots on the ground type stuff. It's always exciting and yeah, man, it's going to be fun because there's a lot of fighters that I don't know personally or I haven't been around, you know what I mean? So I get to meet a lot of new people and just get in the mix again. I think I needed that. So I guess we're making an announcement right now. So I guess, we'll be seeing whoever's at the shows. If you're watching this, we'll see you guys there, and don't be afraid to come up to us and chit chat. We're always down to we're always about the SCMP family. And I think the people that have been watching this over the years, the fight companions and the podcast, man, we've had a lot of people come through, and it's great, man. It's great.
Yeah, we have, and it goes back to the old days. John really helped me launch this channel, even when he wasn't getting any money for it. Back when we were just doing it, we were bored in the pandemic, doing podcasts, fight companions. This was essentially his idea, so it's great to actually welcome him back in
It
because he
kind
did
of
he did
was,
a
right? I kind of pushed
yeah,
you to
yeah.
do it.
You launched the whole thing, so you're coming back into the fold slightly, which I'm really excited about. I've wanted to have you in some capacity here. It's great going to have you at the shows because I really enjoyed when we went to that UFC show in South Korea, but we weren't even working together. But now it's going to be
I we,
fun. Yeah.
I don't even think we really even knew each other. I think we met each other for the first time in South Korea for that UFC in Busan, and we got to know each other a little bit. And then we started to do work a little bit more closely. And then the pandemic hit. That's crazy, right? Then the pandemic hit, and
Yeah.
then we're like, what are we gonna do from home? And we started doing the podcast and then the fight companions, and it just all snowballed into what it is now, man. You've done a lot of great work, man, and I'm gonna be, excited to kind of contribute a little bit more as the movement moves on. The SCMP movement, and everybody that joins us and subscribes and comments and asks questions, and we all appreciate you guys tremendously, and we're just gonna be working harder for everybody that watches. The development of this platform.
Yeah, it's something of a new era, to be honest. It's when one door closes, another opens, or whatever the phrase is. Tom did a fantastic job, but having John is going to open up some new doors. He's going to be based in Phuket, and he's going to have a lot of possibilities to go out there and get some good content on the ground, some interviews for us. A lot of fighters out there, John, aren't there?
For sure. There's a lot of fighters, and especially, if you're in Phuket, you could go to Bangkok, not a problem. You could fly to Malaysia. It's so quick. It's like right there in the middle of everything. So there's a lot of possibilities of content coming up in the future in the next couple of months, for the rest of the year. And yeah, man, I'm excited to do it and give you guys what you guys want. You know what I mean? More exposure for these athletes, Muay Thai, kickboxing, MMA, grappling, maybe even that, you know what I mean?
Even that, yep. Can't wait to get back on there. It's been a bit of a hangover, I would say, quite literally in some ways, but also just mentally, physically from Denver. you know, I think a lot of people put a lot of energy into that show over the last few years. I would say, inside that company, but especially the last 5 months, it's been gearing towards that. What a show it was! But we're back to the nitty gritty. We're back to Lumpini Stadium. We're back to all of it, John, and there's some great fights there. But I think we're going to talk about some other stuff today, namely some things, some title fights that have been rescheduled. But first of all, I'll just have a quick look at some of these comments. Ong is saying, wishing you a full recovery, John. He saw the photo that you uploaded. You're not doing too bad. You're not going to be in a wheelchair or anything. I'll be pushing you
No,
around.
man, I was never in a wheelchair. I'm
Okay.
doing good, man. I appreciate you, Ong. Yeah, we'll be good, man. I just probably have bad scarring. Probably take some photos when I see you in Bangkok, just to show everybody.
Okay. Kenneth saying hello from New York. I love the show. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Kenneth. Appreciate the kind comment there. Ego Kind is missing Tom. We all are Ego Kind. We had a good thing going there with the three of us as well on these podcasts. So not ruling it out of getting Tom back involved, but he's just started his new job. So I don't want to bother him too much. We'll see once he gets his feet under the desk there, so to speak. I don't think he actually has a desk, but yeah, we maybe see if we can get him on these shows. I think he's going to be doing the fight companions though, at least. So you'll be seeing plenty of Tom Ego Kind, I'm sure. John KL saying, hope you're recovering well, John.
Appreciate
And
you,
here's
John
my
KL.
guy, Grant Sanders, saying, good evening, gents. I'll be at Lumpini on June 10th. I'll come say hi. I have a ringside ticket. Super excited. Thanks for the great podcast, boys. Thank you, Grant. I know you comment a lot on our Facebook and things like that, so it would be great to meet you. If you see me there, or see John there, yeah, please come say hello. Always good to chat, and appreciate the support. And Damien R thinks this fight, I guess you're meaning Bhullar and Malykhin, is never going to happen. Well, that is what we are going to talk about first, I think, John. Once again, they've moved this fight. It's the fourth time I think they've tried to schedule it now, but this time it was just because they wanted to fast track it. So it's not happening at Fight Night 12. It's going to happen not at Fight Night 11 either. It's in the middle of those two at the June 23 Friday Fight Show, which is the tent pole event, one of the big four quarterly shows they do. And some other news today, you're seeing, John, that they're stacking the show, aren't they? They've just announced an interim title fight. Samay and Prajandchai, the rematch. Obviously, Prajandchai beat Samay, took that title from him. Then Samay retired. Prajandchai then lost the belt to Joseph Lusiri. A lot of people were wondering about Lusiri, but we'll get into that later. Let's talk about Bhullar and Malykhin first. What's your immediate thoughts, John, on this fight? Finally, hopefully happening. Damien doesn't think it's going to happen, but what do you think?
Well, I think it's gonna happen. I think there's a reason why they pulled it closer to us. You know what I mean? To now. It's odd that they're doing that. You know what I mean? Why would they take it from a fight night to a Friday fights? Because the fight night draws more attention. It's on Amazon Prime, and this is a heavyweight fight. This is a title unification fight, right? Like, I don't know why you would not put that on Amazon Prime. It's very suspicious why they're doing that. Do they have something for that fight night? Something major that they want to put on?
Here's my theory. It's not even a theory, really. It's the time zone, right? This Prime Video card is going to fall about 7 a.m. in India when the main event is actually on. Something like that. I think India is a couple hours back from Thailand. So, and right now, Arjan Bhullar is over in India doing a big promotional tour. He's been all over ESPN India, NBA India. He's at the IPL cricket. You name it, he's promoting this fight. He's got the belt with him everywhere. So I think they're making a big push to promote this. It might be because of Star Sports have demanded this. And you remember when they initially canceled it in March, they said it was broadcaster commitments. And we all thought that was silly. But it seems like Star Sports have a bit of sway here. Quite a big Indian TV network. So I think they've just said, hang on a minute. We want this in prime time. So one have said, all right, we'll put that on the big Friday fights card. How about that? It'll be kind of 9, 10 p.m. your time. I think so, or maybe even earlier. But prime time nonetheless. So that's my theory, John. I think that's why they've moved it. But as to what they're going to replace it with, well, they're going to have to find something because they've also lost Tang Kai and Tan Lee's rematch, which we'll talk about later. Tang Kai is injured, but yeah, for now there is no title fight on that card. So I think that's correct. Me saying that they
Yeah.
may have Chingiz Alazov and Marat Gregorian, if I'm not mistaken. Although that might be August actually. Yeah, I think it's August. So no title fights. Bit of a mess. But let's talk about Bhullar and Malykhin again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think about that? Is that a good enough reason to put this
Oh,
on
for
Friday
sure, for
fights?
sure. You know, I mean, you do. You know, man, having the Friday fights on in the evening in Asia, it gives you that option. You know, I mean, just in case, you have a situation like this, you have like a champion like Bular that's big in India, or that's something for the Indian audience that's not going to wake up at 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. to watch it, because that's a huge audience right there that you're missing out on. So it's justifiable to move it to a Friday fight. And hey, I mean, the people at Bangkok, they get a crazy fight. I mean, it's gonna be hard to get tickets. I mean, it's not like that. It's that big of a venue at Lumpini, right? So if you could get tickets for this show, I would go get them right now. You know what I mean? Because I feel like they won't be, because they have another title fight as well. You know what I mean? Like that interim title fight. The what is it? The Muay Thai is Muay Thai,
Yeah,
right?
strawweight Muay Thai.
Exactly, right? So, yeah, you make complete sense. I think maybe Star Sports has something to do with it, and we're gonna see this fight, man. I don't think either of these guys are gonna pull out. If he's doing a promotional tour right now, I think he's probably not gonna pull out, right? It's probably not gonna be something that goes wrong, heading into this fight. Malykhin, it seems like he's been ready to fight for I don't even know how long. I mean, they're always talking craziness, right? Malykhin and his head coach, John Boy. So, I mean, they want to get this fight done and dusted. They're very confident. Bhullar, he's been staying quiet. I've seen that he's brought in Jorgen De Castro, who fights for the PFL. They brought him in to training camp to help Bhullar prepare for Malykhin. So we'll see, man. I'm excited for this fight, man. I can't wait to go watch it live.
I can't wait either. Hopefully, I'll be there. I haven't confirmed whether I'll actually be at this fight night. Sorry, Friday fights 22. I think I have to be though, John. It's pretty big. It's shaping up
Yeah.
like a can't miss. WMMAC now saying JHK back at home. It was good to briefly meet you, Chuck, in Denver. We did cross paths at the what was it? The face-offs, yeah. Face-offs and ceremonial weigh-ins. I'm so sorry I didn't get to speak to you longer or hang out with you. I know you wanted to get a drink, but I was so busy. It was such a slog that whole week, and it just flew by. I hope you had a good time though, and I'm sure they'll be back in Denver. So hopefully we can catch up then again. But thanks for commenting and watching. Yeah, I think Jackson Muay Thai makes a good point here. I kind of like it being on the Lumpini show. It opens the door to have other big names on the Lumpini fights, especially those who've been itching to fight. And yes, Miller Sandell is on this Friday, although it is kickboxing. That's right. Slightly weird. Yes, she is the strawweight Muay Thai champion in one, but she is doing kickboxing, and she's about the third fight of the night. Slightly weird, John. Maybe we'll get back to that later. But yeah, we are seeing some big names on these Friday fights cards, so I'm not too unhappy with it. And they would, I speak to people behind the scenes at one when I'm there behind the scenes at Lumpini, and the people who run the shows, and they say that's what they've always wanted. It's about getting the bigger names and showing it doesn't have to just be that kind of developmental talent. What do you think, John? Do you see it? We've had 5 months of it now, and you're starting to see stars develop and win contracts. I think they've given out 3 contracts now to the big dance, shall we say, the main roster, but we're also seeing stars from the main roster come down. It's becoming quite a nice mix, I think.
Oh yeah, I think it's a perfect middle ground. You get the newcomers, you get the prospects, and then you get the guys that maybe, or the girls that maybe are not doing so well in the big show, and they go down and prove themselves again and get their spot back. at one of the fight nights. Yeah, and also like you got this situation, Samila, she's the champion, but maybe she wants to fight something else. Maybe she wants to try some MMA. Then you could go to the fight, what's it, Friday fights, and do something else, do a different martial art. And then when it's time to defend your title, you could go defend your title at one of the fight nights. It's just, man, I wish they would change the names, man. It's just like Friday fights, fight nights. It's like pretty much the same thing, right? It's just
Yeah,
it can be confusing to some people,
I
but
would like them to just call it Lumpini. One Lumpini is fine
exactly,
with me.
right? Yeah. Why would you not? I don't understand why it's called Friday Fights. One Lumpini 12, one Lumpini. Maybe is it too long? It seems like it's the same length as Friday Fight Night or whatnot, whatever. It's yeah, it's kind of odd.
It's
But
baffling
anyways,
because they call it One Lumpini on in Thailand, but that's just the second half of the show. And then first
yeah,
half of the show is Friday Fights, but then they just refer to it as Friday Fights generally in the West. So I don't know.
yeah, it's very odd. But
Sort that
yeah,
out,
Samilla
guys.
fighting kickboxing, I like it. I think they should do more of that just to keep the fighters active, and I think they should start mixing it up like that as well to give like prospects coming up some chances to fight against like higher level, talent. Maybe if it's not even in that in that sport, whatever. If it's not even in Muay Thai, like she's going to kickboxing, right? Why not give her somebody that's a prospect in kickboxing because she wants to test it out, right? If she loses, she loses. It's not like this is not the UFC. You know what I mean? If you lose, you lose, and if you're the champion in another martial art, you go back and defend your title. It's very simple. You know what I mean? It doesn't count as heavily if you lose.
Well, Anonymous is going to be there as well.
Mm,
I would say come and say hi, but given your name's Anonymous, I guess you
yeah.
don't want to be too public. But if you do, we'll be there.
Yes.
But
But if you
yes,
come up to us and say you're anonymous, they will know exactly who you are.
yeah,
So,
just
even
come
if
and wink. Yeah.
exactly, we don't even know your name, it's all good. Just say you're anonymous.
Kenneth is saying it might be a missed opportunity to not market Anatoly to the West, though, because he's got a good personality. His English is getting better, yeah, and obviously very exciting fight style. Pretty much finishes everyone. Do you think that's the case, John? Do you think one is missing a trick here, not getting Anatoly on the Prime Video card for this title fight?
I don't think so. I think it's a good opportunity to kind of, because they've had problems with Bhullar, it seemed like, what I mean, in negotiations or whatnot. So to get back into like the good graces and mend some fences with Bhullar, one championship, they do this, what I mean? They do this for the Indian audience. Anatoly, man, no matter who he fights in front of, people are gonna enjoy it, to be honest with you. It could be in front of his country. It could be in front of Asia. It could be in front of India. No matter where he fights, people are going to enjoy that style. So it's a win-win situation.
Yep, and as John KL points out, there's a decently sized ethnic Indian diaspora crowd in Bangkok, so that I don't think they have any problems filling this stadium for sure. Chuck pointing out here, yeah, Takeru's debut probably be primetime Asia as well. I do feel that they're going to have to bring back some Asia cards. You know what I mean? Outside of the Lumpini, some big shows in the evening. I think they're going to have to do these double headers again. Go on the road and take the show to Singapore and do the morning card on Prime and then the evening one. As tough as those were for everyone who works in one and the media covering it, I think long term they're going to possibly they'll do a show in America every month. That's the vision, on Prime Video. Then they're going to have a show in Asia every month, possibly also on Prime Video, but in Asia Prime time. Do you think that is possible, John? Or am I being pie in the sky? Am I
Well,
getting too far ahead of myself?
this is the perfect situation, I think. If we're thinking, far ahead, like maybe next year, is to have one show in Asia and have one show in the US every month, and then have Friday shows, Lumpini shows, and every week. If they can do that on a consistent basis, the promotion will grow. What I mean, especially stateside, right? Because they'll bring that audience. And I think to be honest with you, it's gonna grow Muay Thai in the U.S. extremely. I mean, you've seen the
Hmm.
the reception it got. You know what I mean? Rodtang and yeah, Rodtang especially. Like I was very surprised that the crowd was that crazy for Rodtang. But it seems like they love him. You know what I mean? And there's a lot more where that came from, right? Not just Rodtang. There's a long list of great Muay Thai fighters on the roster that they could send over there and put on great shows.
Yeah, Rodtang was, I can attest, hugely over there. I think that's just partly because he's Rodtang and he has a bit of this mystique about him, and he's pretty fun. But I think anyway, we'll get into some more of that. Sorry, there's some questions here and some comments. I'll do first. Sorry. Any news on Tiffany Teo's next fight? Says John. Oof. I don't even know what division she's gonna land back in because she wanted to go to atomweight, but then she was 10 pounds when they took the post-fight weight, which they do now. She was 10 pounds heavier than her pre-fight weight, which is outside of the 5% bubble I think they allow you. So I don't think they'd allow her to go back to atom weight. I'm not sure she could lose any more weight, to actually walk around at that weight. She had done a pretty good job to cut weight for it, but she was cutting weight, John, right? As you can see, putting on 10 pounds, she was the heaviest post-fight weight of that whole card, which was back in September, I think, in Singapore.
But
No one
she's ranked
else.
though, number 5 at atomweight.
I just they did go a bit hush hush about the post-fight weight things after
Yeah.
that. I kind of shed some light on that, and then they seem to stop actually putting those post-fight weights out.
Yeah.
They say they still do it. I'm sure they do, but I think they just don't publicize it. But I don't know. I think if they're serious about that, yeah, they can't actually have Tiffany at atomweight because you get a warning the first time, then you get a fine, I think, and then you're just not allowed to compete in that weight class. So Tiffany may have to hang around for strawweight. You could do Tiffany and Mengbo again. I don't know.
Nah, I say like let Tiffany go back to the atomweight and fight Denise Zamboanga. I think that's the fight to make.
But what are we doing this weight thing seriously? Are we gonna?
Give her another chance. You know what I mean? Fighters have missed weight, they've missed hydration and done catch weights. You know what I mean? Why not give her another chance? Just like any of those other fighters.
I think it's she made weight. This is the thing. She then obviously rehydrated and was
Mm-hmm.
10 pounds heavier than her opponent on fight night. Which do you think she could naturally get to atom weight without needing to cut weight? I don't know. She's very tall for the weight class. She looked like she had nothing to give. Pretty
Yeah,
lean.
even like at straw weight, she looked like she had
Yeah.
nothing to give, to be honest with you. Yeah, that could be a problem, but I say we give her another chance. And the only fight you could really give her is someone that's in the top 5 as well, which is Denise. Because Stamp's gonna fight Ham for the title. What's
Yeah.
1 and 2? So let's see if Tiffany can make the weight and not regain too much back. Which kind of like, man, if they make the weight and they make hydration, but you want to limit the weight that they put on back, like what if they just love to eat and it's just, they put on 10 pounds of food?
Yeah. That is true. That is true. Maybe it was just, she went crazy at McDonald's after that. I don't know. But anyway, talking about, Stamp and Ham, Anonymous pointing out here, I hadn't actually seen this, that Stamp's cancelled her May seminars in Australia because
Wow.
she got an important call and said exciting news is coming soon. So, yeah, maybe that fight is happening sooner than we think. That would be a very nice addition.
May.
Maybe that is what's going to be the new title fight on this July card, with Tankai out and Bhullar and Malykhin
Oh, so
moved
she'll
over.
be in camp, you're talking about, in May.
Yeah, I guess that would time out pretty well, wouldn't it?
May, June. That's right. That should be in camp in May, June. Because it's May right now, right?
It is. So I guess she was going to go to Australia, yeah, straight after
Mm.
this Denver show, but she's in Krabi at the moment, I think. Little beach holiday with the family.
Oh,
Very
that
nice to
makes
see.
sense because right now, the one Friday Fight Night 12 doesn't have a title fight anymore. So that could be it. There you go.
That
It
could
looks
be
like
it.
Ham's training as well from her
Yeah,
Instagram.
it looks like we figured it out. Okay, that would be
Yes.
cool.
Breaking news.
Yeah. Well, Rudy, sorry I'm late here. Curious what you thought about Rod Tang's success in Denver as far as crowd reaction. Oh yeah, just touched on it briefly, but it was crazy. Honestly, being there. Not gonna lie, I couldn't see anything. I did moan about that on Twitter. Our seats were behind the ramp where they have all the people who stand up either side of the ramp. So none of the media could really see much. All the media just by the end turned around and were watching the big screen. So I watched it on the screen, but I could hear the crowd still, and I could see the crowd in front of me, on the sides of the arena. They were just going nuts. They couldn't get enough of the guy. Honestly, it was superstar reaction. So well played, one championship on first of all getting Rodtang there. Well played, Mikey Musumeci helping Rodtang make weight, and well played one. That was perfect matchmaking for him, a guy that he could destroy, and they kind of had a nice narrative there, build it up a little bit. Is Rodtang going to be okay with the altitude? Is he going to make weight? So there was a lot of intrigue, and I played out perfectly. Anyway, some other comments here, or do you want to get into some of the other stuff?
Let's get into some of those stuff. We'll get back to the comments. I think some of
Yeah.
the comments are talking about what we're going to talk about anyway. So,
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'll try and get to all your comments eventually, but we'll get through some of these other things. So I think the other big title fight we've mentioned it already. Sam A. Gayeng Hadao, who's now at Bang Tao, is going to be rematching Prajandchai, and they're going to fight for the interim strawweight Muay Thai title, which has come out of nowhere, John, because Sam A was going to fight Compet first. That's no longer happening. Prajandchai is now coming in. It's for a title, which is even more bizarre because, as far as I knew, Joseph Lasiri is fine. I see him training, and he's not fought since that Rod Tank fight, which Chatri was not a fan of in November when he just basically kind of backed off from Rod Tank. But I messaged Joseph Lasiri and I said, "What's going on, champ? Have you seen this? Are you injured?" He said, "Yes, I'm injured. I will fight the winner." So there you have it. Joseph Lasiri injured, so they've made an interim title fight. I mean, what do you think, John? Is should they have just had a fight, Sam A against Prajandchai? Do you need that interim title to make it interesting? Is it just for the razzmatazz to add some pizzazz to this card, or could it have stood on its own as a title eliminator type of thing?
nah, it has to have a little pizzazz, right? You got to put a little pizzazz on there, especially with that heavyweight title fight earlier in the night, and Sam A is Sam A. I mean, deservedly so. He has a win over Lasiri, and and what is it? Prajant he's he's lost to him, so it's kind of like a revenge spot right here, right? For this fight. I like it. I like that they're putting the interim title on the line. And then it lines up perfectly with Lasiri coming back. Sam A wins. That's perfect, man. Like Lasiri could
Look,
get
Ego
revenge.
kind knows more than me here. He's said Lasiri's injured. Prajandchai was set to fight Lasiri. I didn't even know this. So there we go. Keep your eyes on Ego Kind. He's on Twitter. Go follow Ego Kind. Got more news than me. But yes, okay, fine. I'm fine if that is how it is. Yeah, let's do it. Interim belt. Depends on the injury for Lasiri. I don't know how serious it is, but
But
it's cool.
how was he gonna fight Lasiri when he already lost to Lasiri by knockout like 2 fights ago? That didn't really make any sense. Does it make sense that they were gonna fight each other?
Mm, I don't know.
Yeah, it's these guys all fought each other. So, well, anyways, I like this fight. I think this fight is going to be exciting. I'm glad that they're putting a title on there, and then whoever wins this goes straight into a unification bout. It's all good, man. It works out.
I guess you could say it was Doctor Stoppage, right, with Prajandchai against Lasiri.
Mm-hmm.
So he could say, "Oh well, it wasn't a knockout," and he beat Compet on the first Friday fights card, I think it was January. So kind of makes sense. It's fine. I'm down with it. I'm okay
Yeah,
with
it's
it.
all good. No worries.
All right. It was hinted by Prajandchai and PK that Prajandchai will get his redemption, which in my head sounds like he was set to fight Lasiri. Okay. Doing some sleuthing there yourself, Ego Kind, like we were doing with Ham and Stamp. I like it. Okay. Who do you think's gonna win though, John? And then go and fight Lasiri?
Man, that's a tough one because Sam A, he is 39 years old. You know what I mean? He's not a
New
young
lease of
buck.
life though at Bangtao, huh?
Yeah, but still though, he's 39 years old, and at small dudes at 39 years old, how many are there out there? Flyweights. How many are there out there that are doing it at a high level at that age? Even though he looks solid, um, I don't know, man. I think that heading into this fight, I would give Sammy the edge to win it, but I'm like 60-40 on that, you know, 60 for Sammy and 40 on Prajandchai.
Yep,
That's the way I look at it.
I'm not too certain, but it should be fun. Good card nonetheless. Like I mentioned, you've got Muay Thai and Nico Carrillo as well on that card. Nico Carrillo is quite very highly rated prospect, shall we say, out of the UK, out of Scotland, I believe. Is that right? I may have got it wrong. But yes, he had a very good win. When I was there for the last Prime Video show there in April, I went to the Friday fights as well and saw it. Great stuff. And we know Muay Thai. We saw that fight with Liam Harrison, and then we saw that fight. Oh, I just love this guy, the elbow zombie, they call him. He was on the last tentpole show, you know what I mean, for Friday fights. So they clearly think John Muay Thai is a go-to guy for entertainment, for knockouts. He beat Kulab Dam, settled that trilogy with a nasty elbow in the third round. Great fight. That one's going to be good. I don't know how good your knowledge is on Nico Carrillo or Muay Thai in general, but seems like some nice fights going to be on this card. I think we're going to have a very stacked card from top to bottom. June 23.
Nice.
I'll have a couple more comments quickly, and then we can move on.
Mm-hmm.
How about this from Mud Buddha 123? When Saigid is a Hakmayev coming back, I think he will become champion. I do not know anything. Bit of a messy situation right now in lightweight and in welterweight. Given Christian Lee's status, we don't know when or if he'll be coming back. Obviously, interim title has been mentioned at welterweight. I asked Chatri about whether Soldich versus Kazakhstan was a title eliminator, so to speak, for an interim welterweight shot. He said yes, but then Kazakhstan won, so I don't know if they're still interested in pushing Kazakhstan for a title. I think if Soldich had won, they would have done that quickly because they love Soldich. Lightweight, they haven't mentioned anyone though, but you've got guys, haven't you, John, there you could do it with. You've got Saigid, you've got, I guess, God, who else? I'm trying to think. You could have Daggy.
You
Yes,
got
Daggy
Doggy.
is the man.
Doggy's
Yeah.
number 2.
You got
got
Halil
Oak at number
Amir,
1.
new guy, right?
Yeah, I say like you put Sagid against Doggy or Oak for interim title fight. I think that's the move to make.
I don't think
Whoever's
Saigid
available.
and Daggy will fight though.
Oh, are they teammates?
Well, I think Daggy and Halil are teammates, and they maybe even Saigid as well. They've got that kind of brotherhood thing.
That's not
I don't
good.
know. I think they'll have to though at some point, so it might happen. Yeah.
Yeah, like you can't be sitting there taking up like like 60% of the rankings, and you're not going to fight each other. That makes no
Yeah.
sense, right? To have those guys sitting
Well,
there.
I saw Daggy there last time for
Yeah.
Halil Amir's fight. I remember someone came and stood in front of my camera for the face-offs. I tapped him on the shoulder, like, "Can you move out the bloody way?" And then turns around, it's Daggy. I was like, "Daggy, you do what you want. You can stand right in front of that camera." No, I think when he said he's coming back soon, Daggy. So maybe Daggy versus Oak Rayun. Have they done that? I don't think they've done that before.
No, they haven't.
Uh,
Oak
let's see what
hasn't fought
title
any
match.
of those guys.
Yeah, Oak just got a win over Lowen Tainanas, but I'll
Yeah.
be honest, it wasn't very entertaining fight, and
Nah.
I don't know what a win over Lowen Tainanas does for you, to be honest, in that division. It would have done well for Oak, sorry, for Tainanas to beat Oak. You know, he
Yeah.
launched right to the top of the rankings, but I think Oak should get, if they do interim title, Oak, you know, the former champ, he has a win over Christian Lee. Do him against Sagid, something like that. Yeah, I'm with that. Okay.
Yeah.
LC with Tankai out, one should make a China card with him. Also, Mengbo against Panda. Yeah, I've heard one are trying to do China by the end of the year, but I hear they're trying to do everywhere. You know, South Korea as well. I'm sure they'll go back to Manila this year. But I think China would be great, John, if they can do it. But the UFC hasn't even fully gone back to China, have they? They're doing this road to UFC at the Shanghai UFC Performance Institute, whatever you want to call it. But they're not fully in an arena, although there was last weekend the first live sports event in China since the pandemic. Badminton's Sudirman Cup was played. And I think China won that. So positive signs, right? That maybe we're going to get some live MMA, live martial arts.
Hopefully, you know what I mean? Shanghai, Beijing, somewhere, you know what I mean? Maybe Macau. That's not even really China, is it? Macau's not China, is it?
Macau is technically China.
Okay, it's
It is
technically
a
China.
special administrative region,
Okay.
just like
Okay.
Hong Kong and SAR.
Well, Shanghai would be probably the best spot to go, right? That would be the spot. And if they do, I would love to go to Shanghai. Never been there. You know, I've been to other cities in China, but never to Shanghai. And I heard that's probably the best place to go. Tenkai, you got the panda. Where's the panda at? You know what I mean? Like, why isn't she fighting anybody? Like, that's another question. But yeah, Tenkai pulling out of this fight, man, this title defense against Tan Lee, it's a big hit, man. It's a big hit because Tenkai has been missing since he's won the title, right? He hasn't really jumped right back in, and they finally got this rematch booked, and now he pulls out. Does Tan Lee stay on the card and fight someone else, or does he wait for Tenkai to recover from his injury? That's the question, right? Is what does the promotion want to do? What does Tan Lee want to do? Um, it sucks, man. It sucks when, you know, the champion is injured. The challenger is
Yeah.
injured, you could pull somebody in, right, and have the champion fight the next contender. But when the champion's injured, it's just like you're kind of stuck in the mud.
Well, if we're handing out interim title shots, John,
Yeah.
why don't we do Tan Lei against could do. I mean, Ilya Freymanov's fighting
In 2 weeks,
next,
right?
yeah, a couple of weeks. So I don't think
Shamil?
Martin. You could maybe do Shamil, but he probably needs another win.
Yeah.
Martin is, you know, he's coming off a win, but he probably needs to beat one of those guys above him. It is tough. It is tough. And if you're Tan Lei, you know, can you wait much longer? I mean, I want to say he's 38 now.
Yeah, Tan Lee's not a young buck anymore.
Yeah, 37. Sorry, forgive me, Tan. Don't beat me up. He's not a young buck, like you say, and he's been out for nearly a year since that loss. I don't think he can afford to hang around too long. I don't think one can afford to hang around too long with him. So maybe, yeah, can you find an interim title fight for him, and then you do
I
Tanley
say
against Tankai?
Martin to win, do it. Let's rebook the rematch for the interim title.
I'm up for
Yeah,
that.
why
Yeah,
not? I think it was an exciting first fight. You know what I mean? It was exciting until one of them got knocked out. Unfortunately, it was Martin, right? But it was a good fight. I thought that they were swinging and banging, and you know, I think Martin would go into that fight a little bit different. The approach would be different, right? I think we probably will see a different fight. It'll still be exciting, but you know, I mean, I'm not saying Martin will like clearly win or anything like that, but it'll be an exciting fight because they're both strikers, you know, and they definitely chase the knockout. So I think it's an exciting fight. You know, I mean, I think it makes sense because Gary Tonin just lost to Tan Lee not too long ago, and have we seen Gary Tonin since that fight?
Yeah, Gary was in Bangkok in January for Prime Video 6, I think it was. He beat Misha Tate's partner Johnny
Oh,
Nunes,
that's
right?
right. That's
Yeah,
right.
quick
That's
quick
right.
first round sub.
That's
Sorry to
right.
drop Misha Tate name there. You could just
Yeah.
call him Johnny Nunes, but
Yeah, Johnny Nunes. Yeah,
very
that's right.
impressive performance it was. But
Yeah.
yeah, it didn't really do much for Gary. I think it was just more of a warm up. But he's he was saying Johnny was very highly
Yeah,
skilled.
Johnny's a
So
good wrestler. Yeah, he's a
yeah.
good wrestler. It all depends on how long Tan Kai is gonna be out, right? Is he gonna be out for like a month?
Mm.
Then you have Tan Lee wait and then fight a month from now. But if he's gonna be out for a while, then Tan Lee, you know, match him up with Martin. I think that's what we should do. We need to push the division forward, man. And Ilya, he's fighting in a couple of weeks. If they want to put that fight together and wait to see what happens in that fight, I wouldn't be mad at that for interim title as well. But we need to start pushing and matching up these guys, man. It's just a lot of these divisions are kind of just, especially the MMA divisions, they're just kind of stalling out, man. It sucks to see this.
It does. An interesting piece of news you told me the other day that Tankai is now there's this new Chinese super gym in
Yeah,
Is it
something
in
like that.
Phuket
Yeah,
or
like they're putting
Bangkok?
something together where there's a lot of Chinese fighters located at a gym. I don't know the name of the gym, but I've seen like they're all kind of at one particular gym, and it's a group of them, group of the Chinese fighters. We gotta
Yeah,
get a little bit
Mingbo is
more
there.
information. Yeah, gotta get a little bit. Somebody in the chat that usually watches the podcast. They have all the information about the Chinese fighters. So I don't know if he's watching right now or not, but yeah,
Yeah,
they have something going on over there. We'll get more information once we find out a little bit more about it.
yeah.
We'll let you guys know. But yeah, Tankai is part of that. It seems like.
Jackson Muay Thai saying Zhang versus the Bella 2. Another one for that China card. Exactly, exactly. I like the way you think. Nice, interesting comment here just from Beyond Kickboxing. Thanks for the support, guys. As always, Smilla broke her foot apparently skiing after her last fight. So the team wanted a warm up fight. If it was Muay Thai at her usual weight, she would have to defend the title. So they requested a kickboxing fight. That makes sense. Okay. Couple other things I can raise if you want, or do you want to kick on with what else we had planned?
Well, before we move on, I wanted to kind of jump. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier to you about Steve Buscemi posting his results, his drug test results,
Steve Buscemi.
or Mike Mushimeshi, or what's his name? Steve. I call him Steve Buscemi, man. That's just my nickname for him. But Mike Mushimeshi, is that how you pronounce his name?
Mikey Musamichi, I
Okay,
think.
Musamichi. Okay, so Mike
Musamichi,
Musamichi,
whatever you want to say.
he posted a letter that he received from one championship. Well, was it from one championship? Was it from WADA or some testing?
So I'll bring it up on screen here.
All
Yes,
right.
I didn't know the process, so it's quite interesting. He just posted it. Basically, it seems you get this letter,
Yeah, I
which I
wanted
will
to talk
share
about that a
now.
little bit, man. And I wanted to get your guys' thoughts about him posting that as well.
Yeah.
And
Well,
the people that are watching, give me your
so here
thoughts
it
on
is.
this right here. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he said, I want to thank One Championship and Chatri for testing athletes for steroids and PEDs. Unfortunately, the past and current generation of jiu-jitsu is ridiculous with the amount of steroids involved. Luckily, One is capable of changing the landscape of jiu-jitsu with this testing. Every match I'm a part of, I request myself and my opponent to have testing to help this cause. Remember, if you hear people say that everyone is doing them, so I should as well, and therefore I'm not cheating. Realize you don't need to inject a needle in your butt to be a champion. You don't need to take shortcuts. Get a stronger mind and better jujitsu to make it happen. And he posted this letter which you received, maybe an email or whatever, from Doc Warren Wang, the VP of Medical Service. Warren is the guy who you see on stage for all the weigh-ins. He's the one who checks the piss, and he
And it's
checks.
it's WADA testing. So well, it's
Yes,
not WADA testing, but it's WADA prohibited and banned list. So the
yeah,
testing is done by one championship, it seems like, and they
yes.
follow the WADA protocol and testing
So it's
methods.
still in-house, right? And they're just using the list that WADA has.
Exactly.
So
Um.
this caused a bit of stir. Yeah, I wrote an article on it, and then I woke up this morning and I usually check the stats from,
Mhm.
the stories that we put up, and then I just saw, oh wow, that's got a bit of attention, and I had no idea why, and then I just saw, oh, it's on Reddit MMA at the top of the page, and seemed to cause a bit of a buzz. I don't know whether that was because of the whole calling out. It seemed to be a call out of guys like Gordon Ryan, perhaps,
Yeah,
or is it
it's
the fact that he's posting this
without a
result
doubt he's
and
taking shots at people in the grappling world, in the jiu-jitsu world, right?
Mhm.
And he's taking shots at them, but that's, to me, that's not what that's not what's interesting about this. What's interesting about this is that, are these sent out to every single athlete for every single show? And if they are, how come no other fighters have posted this in the past? And also, I don't know if you're watching and if you have more knowledge than I do about this. Has any promotion or organization ever posted results of the fighters that have been tested after the events? Like all the fighters? Like let's say we just had Friday fight. What was the last one? Friday fight night. What was the last one? 11?
I
Is that what
don't
he got
even know. I
tested for?
think 12.
Okay, 12, right?
Fight night was,
Yeah.
sorry, 10. Yeah,
10, right? So you
Friday
got Friday
fights
Fight
was
Night
12.
10. So he fought at Friday Fight Night 10, right?
I
So
think
so they go in there, they test everybody, all the athletes that competed on Friday Fight
18.
Night 10. Do all the athletes from that show get a letter just like this? And if they do, are they allowed to post it, or is it just like, what I mean? Like, is it up to them? You know what I mean? Because it's a medical issue, right? Or
I
is it
I
not a medical
guess
issue?
I guess they're allowed to post it. They're allowed to do as they see fit with it. There's no line there saying please keep this confidential,
Yeah.
and there's nothing that incriminating or anything about it. I think
No.
what's interesting to me is just the seeing the process that they have for it, and yeah, like scrutinizing that a little bit, and it's just I haven't seen something like this. I think that was what was cool. It's like, oh, so this is how they do it. All right, let's pick this apart a bit. But yeah,
Well, to be more transparent, right? Because one championship, they're doing the weight protocol, which is something that's unprecedented in mixed martial arts and in martial arts as a whole, right? The way that they handle all of that, the weigh-ins and hydration tests, um, and also I think that they should. This is my suggestion: is if they're testing fighters and they want to promote a clean sport, I think all the tests that they what is it implement for like Friday Fight Night 10, all the results that come back, I think they should post those.
Friday Fight Night. And you're
Yeah.
just mashing the names
Okay,
together
Fight Night 10, right? One Fight Night 10,
now.
like Demetrius Johnson, Adrian Moraes. Like, I think you should. This is just a suggestion, right? And if it's legal or not legal, I don't know for sure. But I think this is what they should do. If it's unprecedented, I don't think any promotion has done it. Is where you show that every fighter was clean, just like this, just like Mikey posted himself, like I was clean.
Mm,
They should just put it out there, they should give you
yeah,
the information, and you could write an article on it after
yeah.
every event. You know what I
Well,
mean?
that's
Like,
what I tried to do with the post-fight weights, right? I used to ask for those, and they just stopped giving them out. So I'll chase them up again on that. But yeah, I believe in the efforts of transparency, or whatever however you phrase that. That would be cool if we could see these letters for everyone who passed. Did we see anyone failed? Alcy is asking, was it a state commission in Denver? Well, that was the funny thing because they had someone from the commission at the weigh-ins. I remember this is the first time I've ever seen. I've been going to all the Prime Video card weigh-ins pretty much. I think I missed one in Kuala Lumpur when I had my passport issue, but I haven't seen a commission member. Obviously, because it's in Asia, all those cards. So you had another guy who wasn't Rick Orty, who's the guy who does the weigh-ins and kind of compares them. Yeah, this guy in jeans and shirt was checking all the weights and then reading them out. And I asked him, "Are you from the commission?" He said, "Yep." But then I don't think the drug testing was done by the commission, because this is what one had trouble with, I believe, in getting their rule set approved in other states, and it's why they did Denver, was because a sticking point was drug testing, and not many commissions, John, in the US are going to let a company come in, and then this is all online. You can see what this. There's a blog out there. I don't remember the name. I'm sorry, but sort of posts all the information. They got hold of some documents of like what one was doing, and it was basically they requested we will handle all of our medical. We have our own in-house doctors. Will handle all of our drug testing as well, and we obviously have our own rule set, the global rule set. So Denver seemed to be happy with it, but I don't think it was a state commission. So I don't know what their process is. I think it's all handled in-house, and by the looks of it, it's not sent to a lab or anything. So you have to, John, take them at their word for it. Do you think that's a fair enough request, or that one is asking you to make if you're a fan or a fighter?
I don't mind it. To be honest with you, I don't mind it. Like I want to try to give them the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? That if they're sending it to a lab, right? To a WADA approved a lab or whatever it is, even if they're doing their own testing, because really they do have to do their own testing. The reason why is because in Asia there's no commissions, and a lot of their shows are in Asia, right? So if they go to America and the commissions are implementing tests, that's great, right? But if they're not, they do their own testing, right? If they want to, be, promoting a clean sport. And ego trip, where's that comment, man? Like oh, here it is. Or is it ego trip? No, anonymous, right here. It says, I noticed Mike mentioned that he requests these tests. Does that mean PD? Right here, you see it says right there in his comment. That's a good catch, anonymous. It says that every match I am part of, I have requested myself and my opponent to have PD testing to help this cause. What does that mean?
It could mean what it means there, or it could mean, I was thinking that he asked for testing before the fight, or out of competition.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I know, one only tests after the fight, which you can get around if you're not dumb, right? You can cycle off stuff.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But he might be saying there, I request that they test before, whether it's just the week before or whether it's months before.
The thing about this is I think this is what I think is, like, if they're testing fighters and if they're testing every single fighter at these shows, they should post the results. If they're positive or negative, whatever it is, they don't have to give us a detailed like blood work of what has happened. But I wish they would just show, like, okay, Mikey Mishimeshi, he's it's just exactly what this letter tells us, right? Like, that's what we should be able to have access to, right? And just know that Mikey was clean, his opponent was clean, Demetrius Johnson was clean, everybody was clean, right? And I think it'd be something that that would make it a little bit more transparent, even if they're doing their own independent testing. You know what I mean? Like, I wish it would just be something that we could kind of look up and see ourselves.
I think there's improvements they could make.
Oh, for sure.
For sure, like big improvements. But I think you touched on it, John. They kind of have to do their own everything because there are no commissions, right, in Asia. So to be seen as transparent and to make it level playing field, they kind of have to police themselves, which some people then see as oh, well, you could just say he did it and he didn't do it, or you could just make it up.
Yeah,
So
but then you start to get
you're
into
damned
these
if you do, you're damned if you
conspiracies.
don't. Yeah, right.
Exactly. Like you just start throwing conspiracies out there. Like let's them try to do it, you know what I mean, first before you start throwing rocks at the glass house, right? Like let them try, let them do it, right?
Yeah.
And then see what happens. But I wish they would, if they are testing like this, that they would give out the results. Like they would show the results on their, even on their homepage. Just go to have a place for it, right? Test results for all the athletes that competed, if they're testing them. But the thing is, like, man, it's they're not catching everybody. Even in the UFC, they have USADA. They're spending crazy amounts of money to to show that the sport is cleaner. But to be honest with you, there's people getting busted all the time in the UFC as well, and there's people getting away with a lot of like usage of steroids and PEDs in the UFC, right? So, like you said, damn if you do, damn if you don't, right? No matter what organization you are, because
Yeah.
look at nobody asked Bellator about their testing. Nobody like PFL. They just had a show in Vegas, 3 shows in Vegas, and 9 of the fighters from the season got busted for PEDs. Before that, I don't think anybody from the PFL ever got popped. Just
Well, I
shows you,
don't.
man.
Yeah, I saw that actually recently. Yeah, 9 fighters, and it didn't seem to cause much of a wave at all, did it? I think if that was UFC, we had like 9 fighters fail. It'd be insane, wouldn't it?
Exactly, but it just doesn't get the attention, man. It just doesn't.
Yeah. And one, I think, have
Because
had 2 positives that they've publicly announced,
yeah,
and they were both kind of buried on their website. Well, not buried, but didn't make much
well,
song and
it
dance
wasn't
about it. Why
really
would you, right?
nobody of significance in any of the divisions that the people that got busted, and that's why it got buried. Because if it, let's say it was Demetrius Johnson, that would be like earth-shattering news, in the MMA world, if that actually happened, right? That would never get buried
Well,
if
yeah,
it
you
happened.
can't bury it, but
Exactly, right? So it all depends who it is at the same time. But yeah, man, this is a topic that we're gonna have to talk about more and more as we move along. But I like that Mikey, he posted that, right? Because it gets us talking about it, and it kind of reminds people that you know Mikey, he's like he's the last person you would think is on PEDs.
yeah, some people saying, "Oh, well, only clean people, well, only people taking drugs say they're clean," but and that as a flyweight, he doesn't, he's lucky perhaps that because the guys at that weight don't really juice. They're saying it's the higher weights in jiu-jitsu, everyone's juiced
Yeah.
up. So I don't know. I've met Mikey a bunch of times. I had a bunch of chats with him. He's such a nice guy. It doesn't strike me as a drug user. He's a very principled person, a very intelligent person.
But the thing is,
Yeah, I
there's a
would
lot
be
of nice
shocked.
guys, a lot of intelligent guys
Yeah,
that take drugs, that take steroids, right? Just what I mean? Like
he
it's
just
just
strikes me as someone who wouldn't do it because it would be against his whole the way he lives his life. Right? He's
oh, of
honest. I
course,
could
of
tell
course.
he's
I'm not
honest.
saying or
Mm.
accusing him of anything, but if you were gonna like maybe have if he does have a chink in his armor, is that his diet that he has does not make any sense. Does
It
not make
doesn't.
any
Yeah,
sense for an athlete. You know what I mean? And some people could like get deep into it, but I'm not. You know what I mean? It's not. There's no point in doing it because it doesn't seem like he would do anything like that.
yeah.
But
We
we'll see.
all right. It is what it is. Um. Anyway. Oh, sorry. I had a double screen going on there. I had like
Because
us
Gordon
playing
Ryan is like having
in another
medical
browser.
issues right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Golden Ryan had. I saw some pictures. Yeah, it
Very
looks like
suspicious, dude. Like him and his it all kind of like connects together right there, right? But yeah, I think we've beat that to a dead horse, into a dead horse right there.
Yeah,
But
Golden Ryan looks like he just had surgery, return of his stomach issues. If you want to be negative, you can say things about it, right? But I don't know enough. Anyway, there
oh
is old
God,
Gordon.
why does he look like Santa Claus? What?
Yeah,
Why is he bleeding?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
Man,
that
if that's from
is
steroids, man, that's
yeah.
if that is from steroids, like you should be, that would deter you. I hope, because that does not look good.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway,
no.
you're right. We a lot. What else did we want to say? You had some. I think we've done it really. Buchecha and Rug. Yeah, I spoke to Buchecha in Denver. He gave me that news to break, but it kind of flew under the radar slightly because there was a big show going on. But it just got confirmed. One put it out this week. I think they're going to be on the August card. So heavyweight title, I wouldn't say eliminator. Buchecha seems to be in no rush, John, to get to the belt. But I
Why
think
is that? Why is he not in a rush to get to the belt when the path to
I
the
think
belt is there for him?
I just think he's finding his feet in MMA still, and he probably thinks, yeah, I could do with a few more fights before I go up. The leap
Mhm.
from the guys he's fought to Anatoly Malykhin, let's presume,
It's major.
is major. So I think he just wants to get a few more guys in, and I think he's friends with Malykhin as well. Yeah, I'm not sure they want to fight each other. Malykhin said the same in December. So some hesitancy there, I'm sure. We saw what Malykhin does with jiu-jitsu guys, right?
Yeah.
Do you think Buchecha could get him down though?
Man, that's hard to say, but the thing is, like, I'm glad that Buchecha is taking the slow route. You know what I mean? You don't see that too often in MMA. Guys are in a super rush to get to the title, and sometimes you get there too quick, and then you get a reality check. And baby Buchecha's, he knows that. You know what I mean? He's been around for a while, so even if they're friends, man, it's the world title. Like, if you're a fighter, you're gonna fight for the world title. It's not like your teammates and you're training together every day. Even teammates that train together every day, they're fighting each other for world titles. Just because you're friends, you're not gonna fight each other. That makes no sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, I've never thought that would ever make sense. It's like, I'm friends with, let's say you and me were fighters, right? But we don't train at the same gym. You train in Hong Kong and I train in Korea, and we're fighting guys. And then, let's say you hold the title. You would say you wouldn't fight me just because we're friends? That makes no sense. Like, if I was a challenger, I'd be like, guess I'll fight him. He's a champion. He has what I want. But Buchecha's taking the slow route, and I like that, right? But eventually he's gonna have to cross that road and call him out. You got to.
Hmm. Okay, well, yeah, those were all of our talking points. So if you want to ask any questions, we can hang around for a bit. Percy saying, how can Jackie Buntan ask for a rematch against Smiller when she keeps missing weight? Yeah, she's missed weight her last two fights, John. Won them both.
What is going on with her and missing weight?
I don't know. I don't know. It just seems to be something she's not got the exact science down for yet, or the gym hasn't, and Brian, the team. But Janet Todd had no problems with it. Uh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to affect her too much with her standing in one. They obviously like her a lot because you saw what she did to
Yeah.
Diandra Martin. That was a pretty good knockout, huh?
That was a phenomenal performance by her.
And
When you perform like that, the promotion or usually organizations forget about the weight misses.
yeah, I mean, look at Stephen Lohman is probably going to get a bantamweight MMA title shot,
Mm-hmm.
even though he missed weight against Bibiani Fernandez. But they both missed weight, so they kind of cancel each other out. But one doesn't really care about weight misses as long as you put on good performances, and even if you don't, if they like you, they seem to give you chances. Look at Itsuki Hirata; she kept missing weight. They put her in against Hamsohi again. I think I think that Jackie will be fine, but knowing her, I bump. I know Brian, and he's cool, dude. This is his shirt. Yeah, sorry. Pope Joy Muay Thai. He gave me a shirt in Denver. Very comfy.
Who did?
Um, Brian Popejoy. So he's her
Okay.
coach at Boxing Works in California, and Janet Todd. So yeah, he knows what he's doing. I'm sure they'll fix that up. I wouldn't worry too much. And Jackie, yeah, she I think she'll get the title shot sooner than later. Or I think she was talking about kickboxing though, John. So who knows? Maybe she doesn't want to get that Smiller rematch just yet. And don't blame her. That was a tough one. Anyway, she did miss on the bonus, as Percy says. That's punishment enough, perhaps, John.
Yeah,
If you
for
miss
sure.
weight, she would have got a bonus. All right. Here we go. Jackson Muay Thai. Well, just look at Rodtang. How many fights has he missed? Yeah, exactly. Rodtang missed a bunch. And there was one where he just didn't bother. He came in
Yeah.
like he arrived, I think, in Singapore so heavy. There was just no chance. They said it was for the Grand Prix. He was meant to fight uh Savas Michael, I think. He just turned up like 5, 6, 7 pounds over or something. I can't remember the exact number, but they were like, "You're not gonna do this, so we don't want you to cut weight." Which is, everyone knocks one's system, right? But if someone is seriously overweight, they just don't let them even try. So it prevents these dangerous weight cuts. That's the point of it. But anyway, yeah, he missed that. He's had a couple of other ones. I think he missed, or he came back and passed after a while. But he got it done in Denver. It's all good. But yeah, it doesn't stop you having success in one if they like you. Any news on Miss Rodtang fighting? I don't know. Ida Luksai Kongdin, I think I saw a post from her recently talking about, or, Rajadamnan. So it seems like she might be with not with one. On their radar. I'm not sure. If I'm one, I'd be throwing everything at getting her in, and you can do so much content with Rodtang and Ada, right? That would be a dream team. They used to do stuff with Rodtang and Stamp when they were dating, and that all that content went crazy. But is that a little too much for you, John? Would you want to see Rodtang and his wife taking over?
No, no, that's they should take advantage of that. If she's a good fighter, I mean, why not? Why not push her in there and have a co-main event type situation, or at least something in
Yeah,
Lumpini maybe.
she seems to be associated with RWS, so I don't know if she's contracted there, but yeah, this was her latest post. Who do you want to see Ada get back in the ring with? So that's a main rival to, one Lumpini, basically. Rajadamnern World Series. So could be a contracting there she's tied into. But yeah, if you're one, I would find a way to get her in. And even if you got to give her lower level opponents, or I'm not sure her level at all, but they don't have a problem doing that for other people. So I think they're missing a trick if they're not doing that. But I'm sure they are thinking about it, because why wouldn't you? Anyway, one of Ada's little sisters is fighting at Raja. She is not. Okay, maybe I am just completely wrong. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. Fill me in. Fill me in. If I'm wrong. But anyway, do you think Rodtang will go up in weight to challenge Haggerty? Asks Percy. I think he wants it. I don't think Haggerty, for everything he's saying, I don't think Haggerty wants that. First up, I think Haggerty wants Lobo. He wants a title defense he knows he can win, or I'm sure he's confident in anyone he fights, but not to say a tune-up fight. Lobo is tough, but I think he's pretty confident he would have no problems there. Get Lobo out of the way. Lobo obviously beat Semapet Fairtex on the same card that he knocked Nongo out on. And then you've got two options if you're Haggerty. Yeah, you can do the Rodtang trilogy, or you can do Liam Harrison. I think he would do Liam Harrison because that's money. That is big money fight in the UK. They can sell out a 15,000, 20,000 seater. I think, this is the biggest post we've ever had on our Instagram when Liam shared it. It's got like 20,000 likes on it, whatever you want to call it, on Instagram. I'll show it on screen now. There's clearly the interest in there. So many people were commenting, "Oh, if they make this fight, we're buying tickets." So I know that's not the perfect barometer to go off, John, my Instagram feed, but would one be wise to capitalize on this fight while they can? Liam Harrison against Jonathan Haggerty in the UK at somewhere like the O2 Arena.
Well, I hope they do that in the UK. I hope that this is the fight that they make next. Liam gets healthy.
Liam said he's not going to be ready to me till like October, though, I think, because he's got this knee injury, right?
Yeah. I guess you put him against Lobo. Sometime in the next couple of months, and then by the end of the year, you do a show in the UK with Haggerty and Harrison.
Yeah,
you got to make
so.
this fight while you can. You know what I mean? Because Harrison's not getting any younger, and he's still ranked number 5, which is kind of justifiable, right? And it's the fight that everybody wants to see. And I would love to make a trip to the UK. I've never been there in my life, so this would be a perfect time to fly over there for this show.
Well, yeah, I would love it as well if it was at the O2, because it's walking distance really from my house, so my parents' house.
There you go.
So I could, or you could get there in 5 minutes if you really want. Perfect for me, and it's lovely area. Would love to show you around Greenwich, John.
There you go. I'm all about Greenwich.
Yeah,
I'm all about the UK. I'm down to go, and this would be a perfect main event for the UK. Perfect, introduction, right, to the UK audience, right, of what One Championship's about. There's a lot of good fights you could put on that card with talent.
there is. Yeah, it's just what's the issues with rule set? Do they need to get it approved? Things like that.
They're doing bare knuckle boxing over there. I think that there should be no problem.
Okay. Well, if they do, it would be a smart idea. And then let's say if Haggerty was to win that one, then I think you go for
Rodtang.
The Rodtang, yeah. But in
the
meantime,
that set up a huge fight. Like Jonathan Haggerty would, if he can win those, like win title fence, beat Harrison in the UK, and then go and beat Rodtang, and then rematch Dongo and beat him again. That's up there. That's like you're cementing your legacy in One Championship, right? With that type of a title run, that would be insane. You know what I mean? I would love to see it. I would love to see him do it. Why not? You know what I mean? I'm rooting for anybody that's chasing greatness. But but this is the fight that I want to see, man. Liam Harrison, big fan of Liam Harrison. Not even of his, like, I love his fighting, but just him as a person. He's just like one of those, like, he's very cool, you know what I mean? Very like approachable, easy to talk to. He says it straight, you know what I mean? He's fun. I think him and Haggerty will go back and forth. The build up would be great.
I had a lot of fun chats with Liam in Denver. Sometimes we didn't even talk about fighting. We just watch football on the TV in the hotel bar. He's a very approachable guy, like you say, very down to earth, very chilled. We were trying to get him on the show this week, actually, but he's double booked. He's got some other podcasts, very popular man as well, obviously, legendary figure in Muay Thai, especially in Britain. And he said he can't do next week either, but he could do the week after that, but we'll be in Bangkok, John. So it's whether we want to try and fit him in somehow. Can we do that technologically? Can we? Yeah, we can try for the Hitman.
Yeah.
Maybe we can preview that card. That might be a good idea.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
That'd be a perfect one to have him on.
Well, we'll get it done. We'll get it done. Okay.
Uh,
So yeah, a lot of fights there, a lot of things up in the air. But if you're Rodtang, then if kind of waiting, aren't you, for Haggerty? So I think they should do Rodtang and Takeru in Japan. Do that Saitama Super Arena, or are you risking? I think Rodtang could take a loss there. I don't think it's going to affect anything. You can do kickboxing. It's not gonna. He's still gonna have his belt. He's still got fights. He's still got his top five, which I think is anonymous here was saying he should fight someone in his top five. I think Rodtang and Takeru is the most risk-free fight, even though it is a lot on the line, right? Would you
Man,
go straight to that fight, or do you give Takeru a warm-up?
I say you give Takaro a warm up fight. I think that's something. And start now. If you give him a warm up fight, he gets that one in, and he could draw attention to himself with that fight. You know what I mean? Not like he's battling for attention with Rodtang. Just like give him a warm up fight, get his feet wet, and then after he wins, then you give him Super Lek or Rodtang. I think Super Lek would be a great fight as well. You know what I mean? Like he's the champ, kickboxing champ. You know, but Rodtang, I say you give Takaru. I think you should give him. Um, I think Daniel Perez would be a good fight, just to get his feet wet. He's a top contender. I think it'll be an exciting fight. And Daniel, he's hard to put away, man, and he'll bang with you. So I think it'll be a great fight. But jumping right in with Rodtang, I don't think that's a good idea. I'm not saying it's not a good idea as he will lose the fight. I'm just saying it's just not a good idea. I think he should get his feet wet.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because you sign this superstar. Do you then throw them in the deep end? Yeah. Do you potentially risking them losing that shine, which they've kind of done with Soldich, right? He's not a superstar, but Soldich came in a lot of hype, but then he had that unfortunate knee to the groin in the first fight. But a lot of people were thinking that was a bad matchup for him too, that he was just going to get wrestle effed, for the whole fight. And then you give him a more stylistically suitable match against Kadestam, a dangerous one. Kadestam takes his name. You know what I mean?
Well, those were all winnable fights for Soldich. Like the amount of hype that he had surrounding him coming in, he should have won both of those fights. Like he was like above and beyond, in a lot of people's eyes compared to all the other welterweights in the division. And he came in and, he hasn't done so well. He still has time to turn it around, man. It's not like it's over for him, but yeah, man, like I picked Kadestam to knock him out.
Yeah, I think I did as well.
Yeah, during the fight companion, I told the people, like, this is what's gonna happen. Kadestam's gonna weather the storm, and he's gonna catch him with a counter and knock him out, and that's what happened. And yeah, so Soldich, he got some good life lessons in the first two fights, man. And now it's time for him to turn it around and rebuild. And I still think that he'll become a champion. If he stays with the promotion, I still think he'll end up becoming the champion. It's just, it's just, will he be around to do it? That's the question.
Good point from John here, though. Yes, Kadestam beating Soldich makes you remember how good Ben Askren was. It's true. Askren got a TKO against Kadestam. I remember they just didn't he kind of sprawled him out. It was on his back.
Drowned him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kadestam could do nothing. And this is a tough spot for Kadestam now because we interviewed him after his fight, and yeah, he'd had a few drinks, shall we say, but he was saying
some slippery liquids.
A little bit of whiskey was going on, but he said, give me fun fights. I don't want these guys just gonna wrestle me, which is sadly though, if he wants to get the belt, he's got to. There's guys, like like Murad Ramazanov, like Cameron
Yeah.
Abazov, he's going to have to get through. So difficult spot for Kyrgyzstan. Yeah, he's taken Soldic, essentially cements himself as the number one contender or an interim contender at least.
Well, it's
So
an interim title fight, right? He's gonna have in his next fight, right?
yeah, but who do you put him against, right? I
Anybody.
think they were, I think they were hoping Soldic won, and then you can do the Ramazanov thing again. Anyway, Percy, we can do about 10 minutes more, guys. If you have any questions, just get them in now. Percy asking, was Francis Ngannou demanding a spot on one's board? Well, that is what Chatri told me. Chatri said they offered Ngannou $20 million, something like that, for 2 fights guaranteed, which seems like a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah. And he said Ngannou wanted a seat on the board and he wanted some other things I know which have been reported by other outlets. Chatri told, I think, saying Ngannou wanted more guarantees for other people on the roster, things like that. Francis hit back pretty hard, didn't he, John?
Yeah.
Via Ariel, saying Chatri wanted him to be Nelson Mandela or something in one championship. It's all got a little bit ridiculous. Yeah, Chatri spoke, I think, to John McCarthy on their podcast, and he said he regrets getting involved in this. It's become a bit of a he said, she said. He said he regrets, going to the media. I guess that's going to me because I think I got that out there first. Do you think he was right or wrong to do that, John? I'm putting you on the spot here.
Well, he's a promoter. Promoters, they promote. You know, they promote themselves. They promote the organization. They promote their fighters. They promote the fighters that's going to benefit their promotion to the fullest. And that's what he did. You know what I mean? Is it right or wrong? I kind of on the fence with that nowadays, more than a few years back. A few years back, I would be like, oh, they're liars and blah. Like I would say that, right? But now I'm looking at it from a different lens. Like promoters are just saying what they need to say to make them and the organization look better. And that's what all the promoters do, right? All of them do it. Dana White does it. Scott Coker does it. Who else? Donnie Davis, PFL. He's like
Donnie Davis.
he's taking shots at Dana White right now. He posted some tweets
Yeah,
about the comments that Dana said, and he responded back to him. You know what I mean? Like it's getting wilder now because you got more figureheads in the mix than ever. So Dana White and Oscar De La Hoya going back and forth. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. It's all he said, she said. Exactly what you said earlier. It's all he said, she said. There's three sides to the story. There's his side and her side and the truth. And we'll never know the full truth.
We will never know.
No.
Do you think one dodged a bullet by not getting Francis? Do you think PFL have they done well with the deal there?
Well,
what's your thoughts?
Francis got what he wanted, right? And I'm happy for him. But is it going to benefit the PFL? It's hard to say, you know what I mean? Just by looking at it from right now today, I don't think it will. Like he's not fighting until next year, it seems like, for the organization. You know what I mean? Of course, he's a brand ambassador and he's going to be the head of PFL Africa, but is that even going to happen? We don't even know. Like that's the first time we've even heard of PFL Africa, and he'll be the ambassador for them into the country, which is great. You know what I mean? There's a lot of talent in Africa, right? So if France can go out there and discover more talent for the PFL, that's great. You know what I mean? But until we see all of that in motion, we won't know for sure. But there's a lot of moving parts to that deal, and it doesn't seem like any of it's going to benefit PFL immediately. But who knows? I mean, who knows?
Yeah. it is what it is. We'll see how it plays out. But
I would have loved to have Francis fight for one championship, but would it have benefited them in the long run? Probably not. Most likely not. It would have just benefited Francis because he would have got paid tremendous amounts of money.
John here says PFL needed and got him 1-on-1. PFL had to beef up their pay-per-view product. Yeah, that is another thing.
But the thing is, like, I saw that they're not even going to have a pay-per-view this year.
Okay. I have no idea what's going on with PFL.
Yeah, like I get little bits and pieces of information out there, but because I think I follow like the whole scope of the sport more than I guess you do, because you're kind of more focused on one championship. Overall.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I pretty much only follow one fully. I check in on everything else, every now and then. I'll keep
like
abreast of the situation, but I don't watch everything.
I don't. Like, of course, I've watched the UFC because I interview UFC fighters all the time, and PFL and Bellator as well. I try to watch it as many shows as possible, right? Fights as possible. But like, for like side news, if it's on Twitter, I'll look at it. But if it's not, sometimes I miss that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, like I get MMA fatigue too. Like I can't, like my life is this stuff, and sometimes it's like, oh, too much, and
it is
some things you miss, you know what I mean, and that's what it is, man. So like I'm happy it's over, to be honest with you. Like the free agency thing, it's over. Like Francis got the deal that he wanted, and it's lucrative, and it's going to be something that we're going to be able to see historically, right? It's a big move because we've never seen a fighter go through all of this and then get signed and get the deal that they wanted. So if he's able to do it, there's going to be people after him that are going to be able to get good deals, right? From the PFL, from, all the other organizations. So it's great.
Very diplomatic way of looking at it. Yes, could benefit everyone. Someone here asking about Petanong or Sitichai. Why don't we see them fight? Yeah, I know it's ridiculous. You got so many kickboxing champions in one who are doing nothing. It's just weird. And then you could easily put them on Friday fights, right? Petanong.
Yeah, why don't do that? That's just crazy to me.
Yeah. Someone else asking about PFL or one in Bellator. Who asked that? Someone did. Whether one is going to buy Bellator. Oh, Percy. News here in the US is that Bellator is for sale. Do you think one should try to buy it?
Well, there's interest by. This is. I'm just going to give you guys unconfirmed information right now. Unconfirmed information. There is word, right? And I've heard this from multiple people that Bellator is for sale, right? Whoever owns Bellator, I believe it's Viacom, they are trying to sell Bellator. I've heard this from many different sources, right? Now, from sources, these are unconfirmed rumors that one championship is involved, PFL is involved, and possibly Disney is involved in buying buying the Bellator, right? And these are just unconfirmed. These are rumors, right? But this is just something that I've heard, and I can't confirm any of it. You know what I mean? But take it for what it is, right? But I'm pretty sure there's stuff going on behind the scenes, and we're gonna see something. I mean, and you're probably thinking like, Disney? Why would Disney want to buy Bellator? Disney owns ESPN. If Disney buys Bellator, now they own a promotion that they could put on ESPN. And what promotions do they already have on ESPN? They have PFL and they have UFC. So if they own Bellator, they could put Bellator on ESPN. They broadcast the three of the 5 top organizations in the world on one channel. That's why possibly Disney's in the mix, right?
Would you see one buying it? Should they? How would they?
They should, especially because it's all MMA, right? And if they buy it, their MMA, dude, if they buy it, they would be a legitimate threat to the UFC. The reason why is their MMA would be bolstered. Like it'd just be crazy now, right? With whatever they have already. You know, I mean, it's not that much, but they still have a solid roster, and they add uh the Bellator roster, which is a crazy roster, right? Like their bantamweight divisions, the bantamweight division, their featherweight division, lightweight division, welterweight division, middleweight division. It's just they got incredible talent there, right? That can compete with the UFC. And on top of that, they have the Super Series. With that, like no other organization will have the roster that they have because they're not just the MMA organization; they're a martial arts organization, right? So if I had like my choice, if I was like a genie and I was controlling everything, like I would have one championship by Bellator, and then one championship would be massive. Like just the scope of their roster would be insane. Then all of the things that Chatri's been saying, like it makes sense a lot more from the MMA point of view.
Does it then help them put on more shows in America?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. And Europe too, because Bellator has been putting on a lot of shows in Europe as well.
But how does it work? Are you just buying the roster or are you buying the infrastructure and everything?
You're buying everything.
So you're buying their network of shows, or
yeah, I'm pretty sure you're buying everything. You're well, before you buy, you vet, right? And you do your due diligence and all that. So you buy the roster, you buy all the contracts, which is the roster, right? And then you would buy most likely the TV deals would, change hands. So all the TV deals and the amount of money that they're making off that, it has some value, right? It would be if one championship could buy them, it would be a major shakeup in the world of combat sports. It would be insane.
Yeah, we'll get to see Fedor, the mecca of Thai boxing, the Lumpini.
Yeah, well, Fedor's
the Madison Square Garden of Asia.
Yeah, well,
that's
something that you would have to dream. You know what I mean? Because that ain't gonna happen. Fedor's done, but yeah, like you would have legitimate rankings for every division in MMA.
Yeah, you would instantly have top 10s, not just top 5s.
Exactly, right? You'd have top 15s.
And does that open up some cheeky cross promotion with Ryzen, which I think...
Oh, that could also... Yeah, they could do that too.
What Chatri said, we'll only do UFC, and that will never happen. So I would actually like to see some Ryzen. I mean, I actually think one should try and buy Ryzen more than Bellator. It makes more sense in some ways.
That would be nice as well. You know what I mean? Something to build up, because Ryzen also does kickboxing.
Yeah, and you've got that Japanese market there. As soon as you buy Ryzen, you've got that market.
Yeah, but I don't think Ryzen's going to sell anything. No. These guys are building themselves up right now.
I guess they wouldn't cross promote with a rival in a market they want to.
Probably not. So, yeah. It's just there's a lot of ego there too. There's a lot of egos flying around. But it's we're just fantasizing right now.
Yeah, we are. Well, that's about it. That is an hour and a half. But Liam Nolan's just popped in, so we'll say hello. Is this the Liam Nolan? Because we have some people pretend to be fighters. So
yeah, we got Henry Ford sometimes.
Yeah, but good to see you, Liam. If it is you, hope you have some fight news for us soon. I saw Liam. He was there for Jonathan's fight against Nongo, and yeah, he said they were close to getting the fight there. So love to see him back in action ASAP. I mean, the guy he beat, Eddie Abasolo's already fought again, and he's got another fight booked. So I think Liam should get a fight soon, hopefully. He could be on that card if Haggerty and Harrison fight, John, in the UK. But that could be a while away.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, we are probably out of time. We've been here for an hour and a half, so we'll leave it there. We don't like to go overboard unless it's a lot of stuff to talk about. But it turned out to be quite a fun show. A lot of things to catch up on. Chatri did not answer when asked about buying Bellator. Says Percy. I remember that now. Uh, could happen. Could happen. Keep your eyes peeled. Anyway, John, over to you. What's coming up for you? Other than us going to Bangkok in a couple of weeks.
Oh, we'll be going to Bangkok in a couple of weeks. You know me, like you can just find all my stuff at Korean John _ Go follow me on Twitter or Instagram. Yeah, just there's a few interviews I'm doing UFC fighters over there at the All Star, but other than that, man, I'm ready to go to Bangkok and cover this show, man. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a lot of different type of content as well. We're trying some new stuff. You know, when I guess me joining the crew, I have to come with fresh ideas. So, you know, we got some fresh ideas and some fun stuff, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe not so fight related, but then also not fight related, you know, just to kind of shake things up.
Yeah, I'm excited, hopefully, to have someone who can help me with the social media side as well. Because Tom would normally focus on the writing when we're at these events, and then I would do the video and the social. But, John, I want to get back to writing. Writing is my main thing. Maybe people here don't read my articles. They just see me on these podcasts, the Fight Companions. They see me on the videos. Writing is my passion. It's where it came for. I'm a trained journalist, and it's what I want to do at these shows. So it's going to be great to have you doing some video. Hopefully you can help with the social and help take these socials to the new heights that they deserve. But yeah, we're going to brainstorm a little bit, aren't we?
Yes, sir.
Hopefully. Anyway, let's go. Let's leave it there. All right. Thanks everyone for watching. Appreciate the comments, questions, all that. Keep it on SCMP Martial Arts. We had a little bit of a lull. I'm sorry for the last couple of weeks post Denver hangover, but we're back now. Going to be rolling out some content for you. I'm lining up some interviews for next week, hopefully, and then we'll be in Bangkok for one Fight Night 11. See you there. All right, peace out. Does anyone say peace out anymore? Probably not. No.